Welcome to the channel, welcome to today's run through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. I'm Jamie. Before we get into it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's jump straight into it. In a shirt, signing a contract, Benjamin Sesko is officially a Manchester United player. Let's go. Smash a like on the video if you're excited. There's the photo, so evidence that would suggest that he is now officially a Manchester United player. It's been all over. I actually recorded a video earlier today, and then at the end, the official news broke, so I'm re-recording to upload in a bit as well. So Manchester United have officially announced Benjamin Sesko. Let's hope for him. Let's hope this is the one where we've finally got a striker that can come in and put the ball in the back of the net, because we've tried, the younger, the older, we've tried multiple different players in that position that haven't really entirely worked out. So let's hope that he is the one that can come in and actually be what we need. The player himself, on his Instagram, said, "When you're young, you dream big. You imagine moments, stadiums and shirts you hope will one day be yours. Today I'm stepping into that dream. Proud to be a Red Devil. Let's go, Manchester United." And his agent said, "Years ago, I made a promise to a young boy with a dream. Together we would reach the very top. Today that promise has been fulfilled. Proud of you, Benjamin. The theatre of dreams awaits." Jason Wilcox. And the following to say, "Benjamin possesses a rare combination of electrifying pace and the ability to physically dominate defenders, making him one of the most exceptional young talents in world football. We have followed Benjamin's career closely. All of our data analysis and research concluded that he has the required qualities and personality to thrive at Manchester United. Working under the guidance of Ruben and our excellent performance team, Benjamin is joining the perfect environment to support him to reach his world-class potential. The desire that all our new signings have shown to join the club this summer highlights the appeal and stature of Manchester United as we continue to build and develop a team capable of challenging for the biggest honours." I love that. And it's shout out to Ineos and the recruitment team and staff that we are signing players that want to be here, and we are building something behind the scenes as well in terms of culture and environment and all of these buzzwords that we're hearing about Manchester United as well. In order to do that, getting players that want to be here as well for the right reasons. Let's not forget, we underbid Newcastle. We offered less in wages and less in agent fees as well, yet the players still chose to come to Manchester United as well. I think there's value in that as well. I do have questions, and then the proof will be in the pudding. But in terms of attributes, Jason Wilcox, right, he does have the attributes required to be a good striker for us as well. It's just the unknown around Premier League, and can he handle it in the Premier League as well? But I love already his attitude and mentality as well, and I think that will stand him in good stead as well. So hopefully this can be the one. And I think when you add a younger striker with a bit more rawness to his game, because he's not the finished article, but when you add that to Premier League proven players and Boomer and Cunha behind him, and then added to Bruno and the rest of the squad that we've got as well, I think I think that's an advantage for him as well. It's in contrast to what Hojlund got, where he was effectively thrown into the deep end in an unstable environment with loads of shit going on behind the scenes as well. And hopefully we are setting this player up to succeed. So I'm massively excited. Even though he wasn't my preferred option, I would still prefer to have gone for a Premier League proven player like Ollie Watkins. Does not mean that I am not excited about getting Benjamin Sesko, because he's got an absolute rocket of a shot. He's absolutely rapid, and he's 6'5", and as Jason Wilcox says, he's got the physicality to hopefully to bully defenders and stuff. Apparently he wanted to play today as well, but was advised against it. But he's going to be on the pitch. Probably I'm recording this at 12 o'clock just before kickoff, so hopefully he's going to be on the pitch presented in front of the Old Trafford crowds. Where I wanted to quickly get this video done so I can sit down and watch the game. Interestingly, team news is out. No Rasmus Hojlund in the first 11 as well. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below, and we'll go through all the Rasmus Hojlund news in a second. But firstly, get involved in the comments. Let me know what you think. Smash a like on the video. Benjamin Sesko is officially a Manchester United player, so smash a like on the video for that. Now, I kind of feel a little bit sorry for Sesko in a way, because while that's exciting, massive upgrade on the front three, in my opinion, in getting Cunha, Sesko and Mbeumo, it's kind of been overshadowed a little bit because of all the Baleba news. So let's run through all the latest there. So Fabrizio Romano said that Baleba is not closing the doors to Manchester United, but at the same time, Baleba is being respectful with Brighton. So at the moment, he's not forcing a move. If Man United find a way to sign Baleba this summer, club to club with Brighton, Baleba will be ready to say yes and to go to Manchester United. So that's interesting. So if we can get an agreement and price done with Brighton, then Baleba would be happy to come to United, or would be cool to come to United. Man United are ready to celebrate the Sesko weekend. The full focus is going to be the Sesko weekend, but Man United remain interested in Baleba. Now, this came out from Dean Jones as well, who said that Manchester United believe that Carlos Baleba wants to join the club after the Red Devils made contact for the Brighton and Hove Albion midfielder. Man United are keen on identifying acquired standout talent from smaller top-flight clubs to bolster their push for Champions League football and eventually a Premier League title charge. Brighton are notoriously tough negotiators, and a deal this summer is seen as complex, but Man United wanted to get to the front of the queue and do not believe it would be impossible to sign the youngster. So Dean Jones saying that United don't think this deal is impossible, difficult, but not impossible. The current £100 million valuation of the 21-year-old Cameroon international midfielder has not deterred Man United, with discussions around payment structure potentially an avenue opening the door for any negotiations. So Dean Jones suggesting that we're not deterred by the price, and that we're not put off by the fact it's going to be difficult. If we can get the right structure, that would be the key to this deal. The right payment structure, I think, would because it's a massive outlay. If you're talking £100 million, remember the report the other day was like, we value him at like 70. They say 90 to plus 10 million in add-ons, so around £100 million. Could we do a deal somewhere in the middle of those figures as well? Who knows? But it's going to be very difficult, because the reports are that Brighton don't want to sell this summer. They're happy to sell maybe next summer, because they are a selling club. That's their business model. Buy players in with potential, develop them, sell them for massive amounts of money. They know their place. That's exactly their business model. But I don't think they want to necessarily do it this year. But I do think United are trying to force the issue, because next summer, Man City, Liverpool, other teams will probably have interest in Baleba. So I think we're trying to get ahead of the race, ahead of the queue, and say, look, can we do something this summer? Because, we potentially have the funds if we do an exit, if we sell Garnacho, which is looking plausible, that does give us some funds to go for Baleba. Obviously not £100 million, but if you structure the deal right, it gives us the cash in order to do it. So, really interesting. So give us your thoughts on that in the comments. Fabrizio Romano then has also said Manchester United is still maintaining contacts with Carlos Baleba's agent. Brighton have no intention to sell, so a big fee would be required, but United are quite calm and they consider him their perfect midfielder, a player loved by Ruben Amorim. And then we've had David Ornstein coming out saying that Brighton don't want to sell him, but Manchester United have been in contact with his agents through intermediaries, as I brought you the other day. United will try to raise money through sales, i.e. Garnacho. It feels improbable, though, but it doesn't stop the situation being looked into. He did say that, this is going to be very improbable, and at the moment it's just, inquiries, and we're just looking into the feasibility of the deal. But to win the race, you've got to be in the race. So I'm still going to get giddy around it for now until proven otherwise. That's my stance on this. I want to get back to being excited about transfers. And this is a signing that would get me massively excited, because I think he is a quality midfielder and exactly what we're missing as well from the team. Someone with energy, athleticism, pace, power, dribbling ability. He's good on the ball. He's not that progressive, but I think he could get better and develop in that area as well. He is a quality player, and I think would be exactly what we would be looking for in midfield. So let's see how it all plays out. Interestingly, Andy Mitten, very good when it comes to Manchester United news, said that Baleba's agent is willing to reduce his commission to facilitate a move to Old Trafford. Manchester United may offer Brighton players of interest. Man United seek flexibility from Brighton, and Baleba strongly desires to join Manchester United. So by all accounts, the player wants to come. It's not kicking off though, but it doesn't mean he can't put pressure on Brighton to try and force a move through, just the same as in Mbeumo. And Mbeumo wasn't never going to, hand in transfer requests or anything at Brentford, but he did force the move himself by when he came back to training, by at least getting an asking price, or at least asking Brentford, look, can you please accept the deal around, or whatever he did behind the scenes. So that's really interesting to maintain accuracy with the reporting. Andy Mitten's full quotes has said, I don't think that Baleba is an absolute guarantee purely for financial reasons. I think if you say now to United, do you want him? Yeah. And if you said to the player, do you want to join Manchester United? You would absolutely get a yes. To say to Brighton, you're going to give a player away for a nice cut price deal, that's not happening. So compromise will be needed. And then that's when he goes on to say maybe some of Manchester United players are attractive to Brighton, for example, with the players Manchester United are trying to move on. They'll likely to have to take a wage cut like Marcus Rashford did as well, and the agent as well. They'll have to take less than maybe they would have hoped for, but this will be trading. But this will all be trading. We'll see in the next few weeks as well. So Andy Mitten coming out suggesting that actually there's some legs in this deal. I think we're exploring it. Whether we'll get it done or not, who knows? But it's really interesting for a couple of reasons. So one, the profile of player that we're looking for, I think, is exactly the profile that we are missing. So that suggests to me that United, Amorim, everyone like that is not blind to the fact that we do need some energy in midfield, some pace, some athleticism, some intensity, using Romano's buzzword regarding the player. So that's really interesting. But then secondly as well, we've clearly think we've got funds available to go out and pull this deal off. But depending on the structure, we don't have £100 million in cash just to give to Brighton in a one-off payment. But could you structure it like we have done for the rest of the deals, where you may be paying £15 million or £20 million over 5 years, in which case that £20 million could be facilitated by Garnacho being sold, and in which case that's plausible. So we'll have to keep an eye on it as well. But massively exciting. But give us your shouts on that in the comments below. Now, interestingly, there's been another report from Indy Kalia, who I'm not convinced with. I'm not jumping on the Indy Kalia bandwagon. I don't think they've turned into Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein overnight, just because David Ornstein gave them a shout out the other day because they were obviously accurate in their reporting with the initial Baleba story. In my opinion, I'd want to see a bit more credibility still regarding this. But they were saying that Manchester United is putting the pressure on Brighton to drop the transfer fee for Carlos Baleba to something more reasonable. If they don't lower the fee, United are ready to pivot to their next target. Meanwhile, they're also checking in on Crystal Palace about Adam Wharton's availability. Our sources state Adam Wharton has gentleman agreement to leave next summer, but can that be fast-tracked? So Indy Kalia, one of the reporters that did break the Baleba news and was shouted out by David Ornstein in it as well, is suggesting that if we don't get Baleba, maybe we would pivot to Adam Wharton instead. They are different profiles, though, although Adam Wharton is a quality mid. I mean, the dream would be Adam Wharton, Carlos Baleba midfield. That would be insane, in my opinion. I think those two could complement each other very well. Both Premier League proven, both young, both got development in them as well, but both have qualities I think would be a really good midfield partnership. But it's interesting because if we've got the money for Baleba, maybe we would have the money for Adam Wharton, who would potentially be less than Baleba, although I don't know what Crystal Palace would want for him this summer. But that would be an interesting option or someone to pivot to. I was thinking the other day, could we, if we've got the money for Baleba, Edison's the other midfielder that we've been heavily linked with, and we were put off by the fact that he was going to be available for 60 million. So if we're looking at Baleba for 100 million, then I don't think we would shy away from 60 million for Edison as well. So could that become a viable option if we don't get any movement on Baleba? But it seems like they're going for it. It seems like they're trying anyway, which is all you can ask for. Whether we'll get him or not, who knows? I doubt it, personally, as much as I want to be wrong on that. But to be in the race, to win the race, you've got to be in the race as well. But I'll keep you updated on any of that. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below, as I'm sure you will. Now, interestingly as well, that might not be the only one. So we've been linked a lot this summer with Donnarumma. So there's been some stories coming out. So firstly, the Mirror are saying that Gianluigi Donnarumma wants to join Manchester United. Then we've had Ekrem Connor who I would say take with a pinch of salt, saying that Donnarumma wants to join. Donnarumma plans to continue his career in the Premier League. Ruben Amorim wants the Italian goalkeeper to transfer to Manchester United. So Ekram Conor suggesting that Ruben Amorim wants Donnarumma, and that Donnarumma wants to join United, according to the Mirror. Now, the Talk Sport was saying that Donnarumma wants to move to Manchester United. PSG have put a £26 million price tag. The player is attracted to the Premier League and more specifically United. No sign of yet that United are looking to bring him in, but it seems a similar situation to the Sesko deal. If United want him, they'll get him. And then Julien Lorenz, who's a good French reporter, saying that PSG do not want to keep Donnarumma. They expect offers from Manchester United, Chelsea, or Inter Milan, who have all been in contact with his agent. So I don't know what I think about the goalkeeper news. Donnarumma, it's an opportunity in the market. £26 million for one of the best goalkeepers around. That's just won the Champions League as well. Is a massive opportunity, I think, for any club. And I think we'd be foolish to not look into it. The worry is, though, like we're being told we're in a sell to buy situation with the goalkeeper. What happens with Andre Onana? It's big wages for Donnarumma. Andre Onana's already on big wages as well. Are you going to have two goalkeepers on massive wages? I don't know if we've got the flexibility or the wiggle room from a PSR perspective in order to do that. Could we do, there's no real interest or talk of Onana leaving. But if the opportunity presents itself, do you just do it? Do you just buy Donnarumma and then deal with the consequences as long as it doesn't cripple you financially? Who knows? We'll keep an eye on it, though, for you. But interesting development. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below, as I'm sure that you will. Now, let's run through all the exit news. So, player heavily linked with a possible exit now is Rasmus Hojlund. So Manchester United are now open to letting Rasmus Hojlund leave the club. Hojlund wants to stay at Manchester United. Hojlund wants to fight for his place. Hojlund is not scared by the competition of any player. AC Milan are considering a move for Rasmus Hojlund. AC Milan have spoken to people close to the player. They're in a very good place with intermediaries for this potential deal. So Milan are informed, and they've been informed about this possibility of a loan deal. Initial loan with option to buy. Loan doesn't mean free. Loan eventually, would be paid loan with a heavy loan fee, so probably more than €5 million, according to what Manchester United feel, and also the salary of Rasmus Hojlund fully covered. So that came from Fabrizio Romano regarding Rasmus Hojlund, suggesting that, if we go back to the first slide, United are open to letting Rasmus Hojlund leave the club, but Hojlund wants to stay, and that's the key in all this. I think United have to sit Hojlund down and say, you're not in our plans anymore, or we feel that a loan's going to benefit you, however they have that conversation, because by all accounts, I think the reading between the lines, we want to do something with Hojlund, maybe a loan, maybe an option to buy, maybe a full sale, who knows? It depends on what we can get value for money-wise and who's interested. But Hojlund himself wants to stay, so we have to have that conversation. Interesting that he's not in the lineup today as well, because I think today is a good tell of where Amorim sees the team and who he thinks is in his starting positions as well. So, but yeah, that's really interesting. But now, it's not, also as well, we've had Italian journalists saying the figure on the table for Rasmus Hojlund's potential loan to AC Milan is a £3.5 million loan fee with an option to buy for £35 million. Manchester United are not an obstacle, but Hojlund is not yet convinced. So again, another report saying that United would be happy to do this deal, but Rasmus Hojlund himself wants to stay. Matteo, who's a good source, saying AC Milan working to sign Hojlund on loan plus buy option, loan fee €5 to €6 million, buy option 35 to 45 million. Hojlund wants to stay at Manchester United, so again, similar thing that we want Rasmus. We want to sell or do something with Rasmus, but he wants to stay. Just checking some breaking news. Sorry to interrupt myself. Number 30 potentially for Benjamin Sesko. That's an interesting choice of number, but I'll bring you any more news when that comes out. Sticking with Hojlund, though, Simon Stone said the same thing. AC Milan are keen to sign Rasmus Hojlund. They are willing to pay an initial £47 million loan fee with an additional option to buy next summer for 34.7. So more reports. Ben Jacobs, AC Milan are in talks to sign Rasmus Hojlund. Manchester United asking for £40 million, while Milan are proposing a loan deal with £35 million purchase option. The loan fee would bring in a total package close to United's valuation. Hojlund would prefer to stay, but United are leaning towards selling. So when you get multiple journalists like that all saying the same thing, there's no smoke without fire regarding that. Romano, Matteo's good sources, the Gazzetta, Italian outlet as well, that have fairly decent, although Italian media have gone down in my estimation with all the Jadon Sancho situation. Simon Stone's a good source. Ben Jacobs been good this summer as well, all saying the same thing, that United are happy or open to doing a loan with an option to buy as long as they get the valuation, which is £40 million, so whether that's £5 million loan fee or there or thereabouts, and then £35 million buy option next summer. The obstacle itself, though, is the player. The player wants to stay. He is a United fan. I can see why he wouldn't give up on his dream that easy. I do think he's been dealt a bit of a shit hand with the environment that he's come into, thrown into the deep end at a young player, but also he is responsible for his own performances. So while I do feel slightly sorry for Hojlund in terms of, it's not been the right time to bring in a young player that hadn't scored that many goals and was very inexperienced, throw him into the limelight at a time of turmoil where, we had all this shit going on behind the scenes, players leaking staff, unrest behind the scenes, instability around manager and all the sackings and all of the stuff that we've been through over the last couple of years. I do think he's been dealt a bit of a shit hand regarding that, but he's still responsible for what he does on the pitch. And the reality is his performances on the pitch have been terrible recently. And that's where, so I do have sympathy from one side, but on the other side, does all of that mean that you can't keep the ball for 2 seconds and you're scrapping with defenders all the time and you can't do your job? It's one of these, isn't it? But yeah, we'll wait and see how all that plays out. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. And then let's go through the rest of the exit news. So Alejandro Garnacho has agreed every detail of personal terms with Chelsea. Deal done on player side. He only wants Chelsea, as revealed here since July. Talks with Manchester United about fee will follow soon. That came from Fabrizio Romano. Sky Sports are saying that Chelsea are confident they can sign Alejandro Garnacho for below Manchester United's £50 million valuation, even if it means waiting until the transfer window's final days. And I've had a bit of a word with myself regarding Garnacho and the price and stuff, right? Because it is frustrating when you look at the price other players are going for, and I think by and large, majority of you in the comments, previous video, do think that, the valuation, the £30 million valuation that apparently Chelsea want to get Garnacho for is way under his value, what we should be getting for him, and especially when you look at like Madueke and Elanga and all these players' prices. Ultimately, though, if selling Garnacho, as long as it gives us the money to get Baleba, then I don't care. Or it gives us the money to go and get a player in, then that's all that matters in my mind now. I'm sick of worrying about the finances. And I said this in the video the other day, we're the only fans that seem to be more worried about the finances than the actual club itself. Someone mentioned that in the comments, and it's a great point and a great shout. So ultimately, I don't care what we get for Garnacho. I care what we do with that money that we do get for him. If it's £30 million, but it's £30 million cash, and that £30 million means we go and get Carlos Baleba, then cool. I'm cool with that. It's just if we get £30 million and then it means that we can't go and get a midfielder or we can't go and get a goalkeeper, then I'll be pissed off with it. So I think it's that balance. Is it the right deal? And does that money mean we can strengthen the squad? Then fair enough. It is what it is. I'm sick of worrying about prices and costs and valuation and stuff. The ultimate thing is selling Garnacho. If it gives us the money and we can go and get a better player or a player that's helps improve the squad, then it is what it is. But give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. And then Jadon Sancho's Manchester United exit to Juventus has stalled despite the Italian side hoping for a breakthrough this week. Sancho, who currently earns £350,000 a week at Man United, is someone who Ineos are desperate to move on before the deadline, and talks over a move to Juventus have been ongoing, but have now hit a standstill. However, the 25-year-old is not worried by the current lack of movement around his future. Sancho knows that he has Dortmund as a safety blanket option and is unconcerned about the fact a move to Juventus hasn't happened yet. He believes a deal will be sorted one way or another by the deadline. That came from Dean Jones, saying that Sancho's not really bothered about what's going on, or not concerned about what's going on at the moment, because he knows he's got Dortmund as potentially an option. The situation with Juventus is they need to sell to buy, and so that's why it's stalled, because they haven't got the exits yet that they were expecting. That could still be plausible. Dortmund is still there. Interestingly, more reports from Turkey though saying that Besiktas have intensified discussions with Jadon Sancho's representatives as well. So hopefully we can see some movement on this, because I'm sick of talking about it. We need to see an exit on there as well. The main thing is getting his wages off, whether it's a loan. It doesn't matter as long as it's the full paying his full wages. I think that's the key for this deal, because we're not making any money off of it. We're gonna so it's gonna be one of these where as long as we can get the wiggle room or get the PSR room, then potentially Sancho's salary would be less than. That saves us money if you go for Donnarumma, as an example. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. And then finally, Harry Ames is being targeted by Sheffield Wednesday for a season-long loan. That came from Mike McGrath. There's also been a report as well suggesting that maybe Toby Collier could be of interest to Sheffield Wednesday as well. But we'll wait and see how all that plays out. But yeah, Harry Ames is one where got potential, but we've obviously got Diego Leon and Patrick Dorgu. Luke Shaw could play there as well, so I do think a loan would be beneficial, especially when we've got no European football, limited game time. So I think it's important we send some of the young players out on loan to play men's football and develop physically, which is massively important as well. I'm just going to check to see if there's any news, because there's absolutely loads going on at the moment. There's like an explosion of news over the last couple of days as well. Vivol strongly supported Sesko's transfer, but Berardi, Wilcox and Amorim were already convinced of his talent. Sesko was Manchester United's main striker target early in Ineos' first summer window before attention turned to Xerxes. This coming from The Athletic. So yeah, I'll bring you any more developments on that as well. I might be back and do a video later anyway regarding the match and do a bit of a match reaction as well. But give us your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on all the topics discussed in today's video. Smash a like on the video for Benjamin Sesko officially signed. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one.